All right, let's keep the questions going. We got one more here before we move on to some of the other additions. This is from Timothy Frith from YouTube. Will the rotation in the bullpen be enough to help the Mets get back to the playoffs, Joe? Just putting us on the spot right there. I think the Mets have done enough. I was a big fan of this deadline. I didn't expect the push all your chips in the table, and that means say goodbye to Jet Williams. That means say goodbye to Brandon Sproat, guys that are a big, big part of the long-term success of this team. And I think Stearns worked with the, chips that he had and made the most of it. And this is a good baseball team already. This team didn't need to be rebuilt at the deadline like a lot of fans across town were yelling for their GM to do. They felt like that whole lineup needed to rebuild. The Mets didn't need to do that. I think this is going to be enough.
I thought the Mets were a playoff team. I mean, it is a good baseball team. Like you said, the lineup is so deep and strong. Like we went to Citi Field yesterday and the lineup, Alvarez was out of it. So Torrens was in, but looking at it,
get Torrens out.
yeah. But there's no outs in the Mets lineup, no sure outs, and that is a strong point. I think the pitching and bullpen is certainly not the strength of this team, but I think it is good enough to get them into the playoffs. And when you get into the playoffs, that's you never know what's going to happen. I hate to just go back to the Diamondbacks, but you could go back to the Washington Nationals, the Phillies.
Right.
Like there's examples of just getting in the dance and making it work. And sometimes the guy you don't expect to put the team on their back in the playoffs does so. I mean, just go to 2015. Yoenis Cespedes was the huge acquisition, and he put the Mets largely on his back for August and September. But then Daniel Murphy comes out and hits 100 home runs in that playoff push. So while you evaluate things on paper, like who's to say Luis Severino doesn't pitch like an ace in the playoffs? And then it's just, that works out. So get in the dance, give yourself a shot. And I think the Mets have a team that can get there.